Dzień dobry, namaste, assalamu alaikum, ciao, bonjour, konnichiwa, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ken at 10. How are you today? I'm feeling refreshed and revived from a weekend's relaxation and, just chilling out, get my mind right for the week. And always love a Monday when you come back and you're like, right, how can we attack it? What can we do? How can we help our clients more? Massive response this week from these two beauties. This one, first of all, in Biggin Road, multiple offers on this. And then this one on Hillcote Avenue, again, multiple offers, massively popular. You might notice I've got this beautiful beach background behind me. It's not because I'm on the beach. It's just because I want to be reminded of where I should be at this time of year, really. I'm not going away this year, but I just thought I'd put a nice background in. You're more likely to find me here. You might have seen this one in the paper. It was something that was in the Sun this week, where a place that hasn't been touched since the 70s goes back into time. Should we ever look in their cupboard? You know you want to. Look at that. To be honest, I'm quite often in houses like this. And for me, I kind of enjoy it. Sometimes, you can only see so many bifold doors, right? And what we find now is that most people have gone through that. And it's beautiful and amazing. We see some incredible places and some incredible creativity. But also it's nice when you just kind of see someone who maybe, their family hasn't decorated in years and years. And it takes you back to a place in time. And there's something quite lovely about that for me. So, property news, let's get into it. By the way, if you haven't been here before, thanks for joining us. This is Ken at 10. We broadcast every day at 10 a.m. and we talk about all things property. We're estate agents. We sell and let property. We're in Norbury, which has Streatham to the north and Croydon to the south. Now, let's look at the headlines this week. In the Daily Mail, they love a property headline. Some of them are okay, some not. But it's an interesting article saying central London prime properties are 31% ahead of July 2019, with Notting Hill atop the list. And the postcode areas in the an estate agent called Bective says that they've jumped by value by more than 1 million in the Norland ward area. In Notting Hill, that is. That's 58%. Wow, during the pandemic. Just crazy, isn't it? This is obviously the prime elite, and probably a lot to do with exchange rates and different factors that don't really impact on the rest of the market. The old adage that you used to drop a stone in central London and the ripples come out. I've said for a while now, it's more like you drop a stone in the North Sea and the ripples come in, with the euphoric rises we've seen on the coastal resorts and the like. Buy-to-let boom continues. Buy-to-let mortgage borrowings reached a record high. There are 2.02 million outstanding buy-to-let mortgages at the end of June. That's up from 1.65 million at the end of 2014. Now, most of these were refinances, and that shouldn't be a surprise given that rates are so competitive out there at the moment. Consistent trend away from the amateur landlord towards the more professional landlord. And we are finding that there's a whole professionalization of the sector, and that should continue. We've lost our camera. Why have we lost our camera? Get back in there. Don't know what happened there. We lost our camera for a minute. We're now on a low-res camera. Let's try and change it back for you. There we go. Don't know what happened there. Can you see me? Come back. Let's go back low-res again.
They're there. They're literally, I've got views.
I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. Really not sure what happened there. Low res, but probably better for me, really. Right, back to property news. Where were we? 2/3 of Brits find the mortgage process intimidating. Now, we found this for a while, really. Some of the questions that banks and that lenders ask clients can be really quite intimidating. I remember one young couple that went into a bank not far from where we are. Can't really name the bank, but basically they asked what would happen if the lady lost her job. And it was just like, what kind of question is that? What would happen to any of us if we lost our job? Then we wouldn't be able to afford our mortgage, right? But the idea that they can have license to ask these questions, I think it should be much more controlled. Almost 2/3 of UK homeowners find the process intimidating. And this is a survey in the Mirror. A survey of 2,000 adults, 40% said deciding which mortgage to get scared them. More than a third were kept awake by the mortgage process. I think it's particularly intimidating for first-time buyers, and that's borne out by the figures, saying that 79% of 18 to 30-year-olds found it intimidating. I think we should find a way of making it easier and easing people into it. I really do. The IEA, this is the Institute for Economic Affairs, have said that the government should abolish stamp duty to help house buyers cope with inflation in the housing market. This is according to the think tank. And it says that the unaffordability of homes is actually further exacerbated by this. There's an article in the Express. And it says that high prices are stopping people getting married and calling for an overhaul of planning rules to get more homes built. It argues the tax causes too many distortions in the market, which push up the cost of a home and penalises people moving houses. Well, it does, but I've said for a long time now, don't hold your breath, folks. Why? Because the government find it the easiest way to get money from you. It's a simple tax. They don't have to do anything to collect. So I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And actually, capital gains tax as well. They do like to take a bit of CGT from us, don't they? And this year, it's a record high of 9.5 billion. So I don't think we'll see CGT or stamp duty going anywhere anytime soon, although I would love to see a reform of stamp duty. At least now we've got first-time buyers that are avoiding it. But, you know, if you want to free up homes, and they're saying that, you know, a lot of the homes that need freeing up are those that older people are living in where younger families need them. And you need to incentivize those people to sell. You know, you need to say to those people, well, actually, you know, if you're over a certain age and you wish to sell, then perhaps, you know, you can do so without incurring a stamp duty penalty. That would encourage older people to come out without thinking about the huge penalty of scaling down. Apart from that, busy day today. We've got our usual sales meeting this morning, loads of offers coming in. We've got to go through those, try and work out who the best buyers are, prove their cash, prove what people say. You know, a lot of people say we're a cash buyer. And then when you dig a bit, what they mean by cash is they're selling a property and then they cash from the resultant sale. That's not the same, is it? Why? Because then we're reliant on the person buying their house, the mortgage of the person buying their house, possibly the chain beneath. You see my point? So when people say they're cash, sometimes, you know, they get the wrong impression of what cash means. If you're a cash buyer, we will expect you to have cash in the bank. And we'll be asking you to prove that as well. You know, a lot of people think, oh, we'll just say it and then we'll sell our house. Well, that one won't wash with us, I'm afraid. You know, we will be requiring substantial proof of that. Identification, first of all, of course, followed by substantial proof of what cash you have. Really, really important. So, you know, tell the truth, folks. Otherwise, you will get found out. When you are found out, then it's a bit awkward, isn't it? And also, if you start the relationship like that, then our sellers, and quite often we, will be worried about how honest you'll be during the transaction. So much better to be honest and say, cards on the table. If you've got a property to sell, own it. So I've got a property to sell, it's not yet on the market, or whatever the position is, so that we can then balance your offer against others. And, you know, and if this one doesn't work out, the one you're looking at, then think about it next time around, perhaps trying to get into a better position so that you can move on. You know, one of the things a lot of people are doing now is they're coming out of their own property and they're renting in order to put themselves in a great position to buy on from there. And this is something that's more and more common. The only difficulty with it is it can be so costly, you know, because by the time you've done the removals once and then you moved in, and that's if you can find somewhere, because a great problem for most vendors selling is finding rental accommodation where the places will actually be available to you on a short let, because most landlords don't want a 6-month let. They don't want a 12-month let. They want 2 years plus in most instances. And therefore, a landlord coming along or an owner coming along and saying, oh, you know, I want a short-term let for 6 months or so, doesn't suit most landlords. So it's very hard for them to find. And when they do find, certainly you can expect that it will be at a premium. And secondly, obviously they've got 2 lots of removal costs. And then if they don't find and the market goes up, then they're out of the market. And this can be a real difficulty, especially in London, where we're starting to find a bit of a pickup now. You know, you could potentially sell for one price and find the market jumps and you're caught between the two. At least if you're selling and buying at the same time, then the relative price differences are constant. Once you come away from the market, if you don't find quickly, you could find the market run away from you. And the things that you were looking at that you don't like, or you didn't like and didn't want to buy, are now out of your reach, let alone the one that you do like. So, you know, as much as it makes our job a little bit harder, I always say that it's best if you can actually combine the two, unless you're lucky enough to have a property that you can escape to whilst you then look for another, so that it's not too distant, the gap between those two transactions, because that can really cause a lot of difficulty. You know, seen it a lot where people think they're going to time the market, they're going to catch it just right. You know, if you try and do that, Normally you get your fingers burned. Very rarely have I seen someone call the market, and I include myself in that. Honestly, one of the hardest things to do is say what the market will do next. I mean, who would have guessed a pandemic? Who would have guessed the exodus out of the cities? No one is the honest answer. Well, I've yet to find someone that did. We saw it when it happened, and it was massive, but we didn't expect it. And something else will happen, and we won't expect it. And that's the point about the property market. You never really know what's coming next. So that's it for today. Hope you have a fantastic day. We're looking forward to, the weather here's sort of overcast. We're looking forward to our sales meeting now, getting these offers together, making sure we tie up the sales to the best possible clients for our selling vendors, and then help them to find elsewhere. Because that's something else we do. We help our clients find elsewhere when they need our help with that. So that's it for today. Have a fantastic day. Look after your family and friends. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow for another show. Take care.